Hi everybody, this is The Lost Boy with your gaming news and my opinions, and thanks for watching. If you enjoy this video or agree with what I said, please feel free to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell if you'd like to see new videos when they come out. How many times have you been watching a video and thought, man, that's so cool, I wish I could make something cool like that? Or even, man, this is terrible, even I could do better than that. It's one of the great things about YouTube that made me appreciate it more and more as the years pass. Even though the YouTube algorithm has light years of room for improvement, every now and then you'll be treated to a new face or voice that has something interesting or different to say. Not only has this kept me coming back, it's a continuing inspiration, and eventually led me to start my own little channel, which will hopefully in turn make others feel the way I felt. I don't want to overstate things. YouTube is by no means perfect, as is true with all social media and companies of that size. But its somewhat democratic nature gives rise to more actually decent content and creators than we really have any right to expect. Having said that, this does not stop the vast majority of content on this website from being just as vapid and unnecessary as a lot of more mainstream types of content are. Also, in many cases, it seems like the vapid and unnecessary is indeed the type of content favored by the algorithm for clickability reasons. This theme carries through across nearly all types of content, and gaming content is no exception. For instance, after the runaway success of the Angry Video Game Nerd videos, it seemed like everybody and their brother was cranking out videos with some over-the-top character whose shtick was being into video games and acting like some version of a fanatical wacko. Many of these characters were so badly acted that my only assumption was that the performers simply needed their audience to understand that they weren't actually trying to act and that it was all just a big joke. This type of video really did rake in the clicks at a certain point in time, but I'm happy to say that it's not nearly as popular of a format as it once was. On the flip side, there's always been plenty of straight-up, what you see is what you get creators who just turn on their cameras or microphones and give what they've got straight from the heart. And although I may not always agree completely, I really do prefer that kind of authenticity. On this note, I'd like to mention a YouTube video that was uploaded last week. The video was made by John Hancock, who runs a channel mostly dedicated to playing and collecting retro video games. Like many of his peers, this guy has a collection that would absolutely boggle most of us normie collectors. But unlike some channels, the authenticity and humbleness are never very far off. Most of John's videos are light-hearted and are on topics that are light and fun. Maybe a review of a new retro clone console, a new game release for an older console, or maybe just some recent game pickups. From time to time, the subject of a video may be slightly more substantial or serious, but the video I'm discussing today was far and away the most somber video I have ever seen on that channel. The topic was quite apart from any of John's usual fare and described John's thoughts on the subject of mass shootings. It's really worth a watch, and I've included a link to the video as well as to John's channel in the description below. Now, I understand why most creators would avoid such a topic, and not simply just for fear of having a video demonetized or something like that. I think the real reason is that between YouTube and any given creator's viewership, there is an expectation for a certain type of content after a while. YouTube heavily encourages sticking to a certain type of content, and many fans or subscribers may become turned off if they are expecting one thing and then get something different. But that isn't even the end of it. If you have strong feelings about something one way or another, maybe you think you can shout your view loud enough to force everyone else to listen. If the modern political landscape is any indicator, this is obviously a terrible strategy, but many persist just the same. As I listened to John Hancock struggle to communicate his position on the topic of shootings and contribute in a positive way, however small, I again found myself inspired. For those who understand what a complicated problem he's discussing, trying to formulate any words that may help really seems like an impossible task. This is likely a lot worse than having a video demonetized or a few complaints in the comments section, and it's definitely one thing that has stopped me when I've considered making content similar to John's video about shootings. Most videos I watch on this topic or other similar topics consist of someone angrily or sarcastically ranting about how one side or the other is obviously the right side because blah blah blah. Sure, this will definitely garner clicks from whichever side of the tribal divide the video is showing support for, but I believe these types of arguments do absolutely nothing at all to convince anyone who doesn't already agree. If you're not convincing anyone who doesn't already agree, then what's the point? Personally, I think John's video did a great job of not demeaning anyone on either side of a complicated issue. Instead of focusing on divisive gun or mental health issues, John placed the emphasis on a rejection of tribalistic ideologies and a call to action for anyone watching, which gives suggestions on how each of us can try to help and heal this terrible situation, even if it's only by a little bit. So I salute you, Mr. John Hancock, and I hope that more creators will start to take a risk and speak from the heart, because I think we can all use a lot more authenticity in our lives. Some of the back and forths in the comments section of John's video show how many people who watched it missed the point completely. People's views about things like gun control, mental health, and prescription drugs are disparate and passionate. But more calm and thoughtful voices like John's are what's necessary here. That's it for this week's video. Let me know any of your thoughts about this week's video below in the comments. Thanks again for watching. Your views and support mean a lot. Always remember your happy thought, and I'll see you next time.